welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Season 4 Namar Mountain Dew Voltage Cup Series All-Star Race. 34 laps of action here at Pensacola. Let's get you to the starting lineup. On the front row, on the pole, is Michael Parker. Beside him is Greg Lyons. In row 2, we have Benjamin Dion and Cody Russell. Row 3, we have Jim Morton and Adam Rogers. Row 4, Michael Naylor and Peggy Bowling. Row 5, in his final All-Star, Logan Scott and Nolan Bergeron. In row 6, two part-timers that have won a cup race this season, Dion Scott and Sam Rogers. In the next row, we have Stephanie Vanas and Michael Santos. Then we have two-time winner Austin Alves and Alan Cavanero. Allison Rogers and the other two-time winner Benjamin Tilton are in this row. Then we have Henrietta Fitzwater and Karen Vieira. Season 2 champ Nico Tringali and Peter Sands are in row number 11. Season 3 champ Zachary Rogers back here in row 12 with the Season 1 and Season 3 All-Star winner Michael Beeson. Season 2 All-Star winner Ryan Shea in row 13 with Season 1 champ Michael Amato. Showdown winner Scott Greeny in row 14, second place finisher Sheila Sullivan, and starting in 29th is James Morton. We had a bit of a confusion. We forgot about Jim Morton as well. Forgot that he won the Sonoma at the end of last season. So we have everybody now, so there's 29 drivers. It should be a very, very good race. Some more news on the Cup Series. Another driver was signed, or a few I think. Chloe Baker will drive the number 35 for front row next season. And Cameron Gaddu will drive the number 81 for Hendrick next season. We've had drivers sign rides for Code Red and trucks, but this is a cup race. We're going to focus on cup. So we got all 16 chasers in the field. That accounts for 16 of 29 drivers. Pardon me. We have both All-Star race winners, one of which has won twice. We have three drivers that won at the end of last season. Adam Rogers, who won twice. Henrietta Fitzwater did it as a part-timer. We have the Season 1 champion, Michael Amato, getting in on championship. Sam Rogers and Dion Scott, who have won via part-timers. Jim Morton won last season. Karen Vieira won this season, the only winner that did not make the chase. Then Scott Greeny, Sheila Sullivan, and James Morton all made it via the showdown. So 29 drivers. This should be a pretty interesting race. We did have one wreck. It was pretty big in the showdown. If we don't have a big wreck like that, if we have a smaller wreck, there might be another caution. But otherwise, should be a good race. Get you to the green flag in a moment. Getting ready to go green flag for 34 laps here at Pensacola. Who will the winner be? Green flag is out. We are on the way. Will any of these showdown drivers win this race? It should be a good one. Man, I'm yawning crazy. Will Logan Scott win it in his final All-Star? Also, Henrietta Fitzwater not returning next season. Zachary Fitzwater going to drive next season in the number 75 Dodge. We'll see what happens there. Benjamin Dion and Jim Morton bump drafting up here. As we're about to complete lap 1, Dion will lead it. So after starting third and going to the bottom in turn number 3, I believe. The drivers are doing a pretty good job right now. We got Adam Rogers up here, Logan Scott, Cody Russell. Cody Russell still unconfirmed where he will be next season. The 78 is still open if he does choose to return. Dion leading, but Jim Morton with a lot of help might get the advantage here. It looks like he will. Jim Morton to the inside of Benjamin Dion. Looking for the race lead. Here comes Ryan Shea in his unique All-Star scheme. And I believe the showdown wreck was around lap 4 or 5. As Logan Scott is looking, and that happened when they went 5 wide. So 5 wide is a big no-no. But Logan Scott and Greg Lyons, the two drivers that had clinched a chase berth on points before Pucot. Logan Scott did very well there. Greg Lyons wrecked. And I think this will be a very good chase because it will be 16 the whole way. And it'll be interesting to see if a driver that got in on points wins the championship. Because then they do good in the chase, and therefore they will win. And depending how it goes, we might keep this format of 16 and in the chase. Now for the minor series, Code Red and trucks, those will be points only. We're not doing chases down there. 40 drivers for Code Red and 32 for trucks. As they are 4 wide for the lead, are they? Yep, they are. Holy crap, look at this. Peggy Bowling going for the race lead, and they are 5 wide. They're 5 wide, getting tight. It's getting dicey. It's getting dicey right here. They're still 5 wide. Ryan Shea's that unlucky guy in the middle there. Alright, now they're gonna do a good job. We got some people back here hanging out in the back. Zachary Rogers, Sam Rogers, Michael Santos, Austin House, Nico Tringali. It is crazy right here. They are back to 4 wide, and let's go back up front here to the leaders. Starting the breakaway, Peggy Bowling in 3rd, Benjamin Dion in 2nd, and Michael Parker, the pole sitter, back up to 1st. Season 1 champ Michael Amato in 4th. Game's lagging a little bit more. Maybe it's the track. Lagging more than usual. Though iTunes was being stupid before. Went to connect to the iTunes store and it froze my whole computer. Twice. So, I'm not going to the iTunes store for a while. But, I was on the internet. And the internet was going shitty, so it might have... Sometimes I feel the internet affects your computer's strength even when you're not connected, so it might be lagging a little bit because of that, but... Nobody lost the draft yet. Peggy pulling up, it will be Dion. Benjamin Dion looking for the lead. Michael Beeson with the fastest lap here. Doing a lot better than we did in the showdown. Nobody's wrecked yet. They will have to pit. Pit stops are on 2x, 34 laps. There will probably be one pit stop because they did make 17 laps on one tank of gas. And they did make it without stretching it because I noticed some drivers run around another time because they did not go in the pits on the first cooldown lap. They went for a second cooldown lap and then pitted, and they were still on their fuel. So probably maybe in the 20 lap range, early 20 laps, we'll see them pit. James Morton coming up here from all the way in the back. Started 29th, he's up to third now. And James Morton hasn't won any races, period. Non-point or point races. A reminder there, Nico Tringali won the shootout, and it's pretty interesting. Won race 14. We're going to take a quick break and be back in a few seconds. Drivers are calming down as they're not going 4 wide anymore. Sticking it to 3 or 2 wide, and Peggy Bowling I think is going to go for the lead here. So Peggy Bowling will go for the lead. James Morton, Michael Naylor, Austin Alves, Stephanie Vanas, the first 5 on the bottom row. James Morton staying down there with Michael Naylor. As James Morton will go for the race lead. Let's take an onboard with somebody here. Let's see. Let's go on board with the 53 of Sheila Sullivan. As you see what you do here at this track, you're moving all over the place. And it's very refined racing here. Look at those moves straight to the bottom to draft with Michael Santos. And you just look how close they are and how good they are at doing this. Staying to the bottom. Look at Pat going to pass the 20 car. Draft influences a lot. James Morton to the point. And wow, they got 5 wide there. Peggy Bowling coming back down into traffic. But James Morton to the point. And looks like Dion Scott might have lost the draft. Or possibly not. No, he's there with Peter Sands. Zachary Rogers, Michael Amato, Alan Cavanero are all back here too. But I mean, there's really nowhere to go if you wreck in a turn. James Morton staying up front. His father, Jim, making his way up here. Carol Morton did not make the race. But what a show here. Green flag, non-stop racing. We got the drivers are really starting to close in on each other again. And pit stops should be very intriguing if they stick it out this way. So we are 12 laps down, 22 to go. Austin Alves up here in second, showing some speed. Cody Russell, one of the drivers, making the chase in on points. Other drivers that made it in on points, as we mentioned, Logan Scott and Greg Lyons, were Peggy Bowling, Benjamin Dion, Peter Sands, and Alan Cavanero. As now Austin Alves will go to the race lead. And speaking of Austin, his little brother Colby Alves will be driving the number 9 for Richard Petty Motorsports next season. Unknown if he will be in I believe it was confirmed to be a part-timer ride. No, they still don't know whether it will be part-timers or full-timers. They're waiting to see how other people do. As we have had some drivers skip part-timers. This year, that one driver was Greg Lyons. skipped straight up to Cup. Chris Washer did do a season in the part-timers. Frank Hopkins did a season. It's Michael Parker pulling away here a little bit. Pulling way away. Scott Greeny up here. Is that getting crazy again? Looking at other rookies. Henrietta won a part-timers, won a race last season to get into a full-time ride position. Logan York won the part-timers championship. Sean Galligan skipped right on up. He's another one there. But everybody else worked their ass off. Well, Alan Cavanero skipped right up last season. But Michael Parker leading the way here with Scott Greeny in second. Speaking of Henrietta Fitzwater up here, look at Alan Cavanero making his way back up to the front. And you really lose a ton of ground on the outside line here. Ryan Shea and Michael Beeson, all-star race winners, drafting back here. And looks like we're going to have pit stops. Jim Morton, Zachary Rogers peeling off. And I don't like the way they peeled off. They peeled off right at the end of the turn. And that could have been disaster. But the 23 and the 3 will pit. So pit stops here around the halfway mark. So it will be a one-stop race from the look of it. We'll see who decides to pit here as they're getting into two wide formation. We're going to switch to the here we go, more people, a lot of people coming in here. Lead will transfer over to Peggy Bowling. Lots of drivers, they did that actually pretty well. Jim Morton, Zachary Rogers already out and away as you see the leaders coming by them. Jim Morton will come back up on the track beside them. And Jim Morton, I'm wondering, Jim Morton's trying to maybe get out of their way here. And Sam Rogers will have to stay out because Jim Morton was in his way. Oh, that 3 wide, I don't like that. Coming out of pit road could be the dangerous spot. Oh, they did a good job there, keeping it clean, keeping it clean. And Sam Rogers just ran out of gas because he had nowhere to go. He's sputtering. Now he's out of gas. So Sam Rogers runs out of gas, but he will make it to pit road, but this will knock out his chance of winning. Adam Rogers had to slow down to not hit him. Michael Santos, Peggy Bowling, Scott Greeny will be the leader from the look of it. And we're going to take a break here and be back in a minute. We are back. The field has been spread very much now. Scott Greeny in the lead, Henrietta Fitzwater second, Michael Parker third, fourth Michael Santos. Battle for fifth between Jim Morton and Peggy Bowling. They seem to just keep switching off. Then here's a good pack right here. Allison Rogers, Logan Scott, Greg Lyons, Alan Cavanero, Zachary Rogers, and Sheila Sullivan. Peter Sands, Stephanie Vanas, Benjamin Dion, Michael Beeson, Karen Vieira, and Michael Amato. These other guys way back here, though, got Sam Rogers with them. These 4 very bad pit stops for them. They are way back here. But Scott Greeny with the lead. Henrietta Fitzwater on his bumper. Michael Parker is closing the gap, as is the rest of these drivers back here, including this very huge back here. And they should reform into a big pack before the race ends, but that race is coming to a close very soon. We are here on lap 22. Next time by, we will have 12 laps to go. But Michael Parker has connected back up somewhat here with the 48 and the 31. As we'll watch the ticker here, see how far back it was. 0.33 seconds last time by, this time by 0.29. You look at the big groups there, they are gaining slowly but surely. But perhaps not quickly enough. As Jim Morton has left Peggy Bowling behind, and he might be trying to pass Michael Santos. Meanwhile, Scott Green and Henrietta Fitzwater running identical lap times. Michael Parker still gaining. These guys back here are all gaining very much more. Even the guys way back here, 26 to 28, they're gaining on the leaders, but they are way too far back to catch up. But Michael Parker still slowly gaining. 10 laps to go this time by. But Scott Greeny comfortably in the lead right now. Those big guys in the pack want to catch up really, really bad. They're gaining about 0.2 a lap, but is that enough at this 10-lap rate? 10 laps to go. 0.2 seconds a lap makes them just about catch up. They caught Peggy Bowling. Michael Parker has caught these guys. This is now a 3-car group. But Jim Morton and Michael Santos are trying to exchange spots here. Peggy Bowling was caught. These guys are running 45.4s. But now Michael Santos getting passed by Jim Morton. These guys will reform here. As you notice, they stay very low out of their draft. But they will now. They have now caught 4th and 5th place. Michael Parker has caught the back end of the 31. But it looks like these guys lost ground because of getting into catching Peggy Bowling. And Michael Santos and Jim Morton might slow them down now too. As Peggy Bowling has fallen back here. But Michael Parker right on the back of the 31 and the 48. 8 laps to go. And we will take a quick break and we will finish for the conclusion of the race. So we are back, coming to 7 to go. Michael Parker wants to go, but Henrietta Fitzwater does not seem to want to go. Now here's the thing. It is true if the 31 and the 6 team up and go to pass Scott Greeny, they will. The only problem is is then if Greeny pairs up with Michael Parker and they start doing that, the pack will catch them. So that might be why they are holding back, as there is a good decent pack from 4th to 17th back here. Michael Amato has lost that pack. Some of these guys are running really faster lap times, but when you have the guys up at the front of the pack running those slower lap times, you don't really gain anything. These guys are still running 45.6 times, and they are actually pulling away from that pack now. Because all of these guys keep doing is exchanging positions. If these guys got single file, they would have a shot. They're all across the board on the lap times. And that is preventing them from catching this group of 3. Coming off of turn 4, we will have 5 more laps of racing here at Pensacola. Michael Parker looking again. Michael Parker planned that better that time. Now he is side by side with Henrietta Fitzwater. This will allow Greeny to gain a little bit of edge. Parker will pass for 2nd. Henrietta will move back behind for 3rd. Now that pack might have gained maybe a little edge, as you see these guys right here are formed up in a bunch to draft. Greg Lyons drafting Jim Morton. Peggy Bowling was drafting them as well. Peter Sands has never won a race on any level except for trucks. He won a truck race in season 1 of that series. But now see, here's the problem. They're going to pass each other now. Now see, Greeny did have a 45.7 lap. Parker with a 45.6. Henrietta with a 45.8. These guys ran 45.6s. They gained. They gained a smidge, but with 4 laps to go, they need to gain a lot more than what they gained. Now, Jim Morton did pit a lap early along with Zachary Rogers, but we did see Sam Rogers last until about lap 19, so they can make it. And it could come down to being one of these 3 drivers. 3 laps to go. Henrietta now doing the same thing Michael Parker did. And the fact that she did it so much earlier will cause Greeny to gain more distance, even at the slightest a little bit more. And that might set up Henrietta and Michael Parker to close the gap. As Henrietta is not right against his back bumper, and Michael Parker is against hers, this could be the perfect setup, coming to 2 laps to go. And Michael Parker and Henrietta are down low. Greeny's got no help. 2 laps to go. Greeny's still down low. Now Parker goes high. And the pack is coming up to them. But it is too far behind still. They're over 2 seconds back. And you're just not going to catch when you're that far away. So we're going to be coming to the white flag. Does either of these drivers have something for Scott Greeny? Parker is slipping back farther in the draft. But if Henrietta wants to win this race, she's going to have to do it going into turn 1. Parker slipping in for the draft. No signs of movement at all. Scott Greeny will lead it into turn 1. Henrietta did have a better lap, but if she wants to go, she's got to go now. If she does not go entering turn 3, Scott Greeny has most likely won this race. A great pit stop paid off for the 48 team. Coming off of turn 4, Scott Greeny will be the Season 4 All-Star winner. Great job by the 48 team, pit crew. Did a great job getting them out first, and with only 2 other drivers behind, it was just not possible to get a good draft to pass the 48 car. So Henrietta Fitzwater comes home second, Michael Parker third, Jim Morton fourth, Karen Vieira fifth, Benjamin Dion sixth, Sheila Sullivan seventh, Michael Beeson eighth, Michael Santos ninth, and Alan Cavanero came home 10th. Logan Scott in his final All-Star came home in 12th. Austin House finished in 29th, aka last. So, we will see you guys next week for the first race up the chase at Michigan. We had a great race last year. I hope we have another great race here this year. See you guys then.